Baltimore Orioles have been a great story this year. That we weren't sure if it was a flash in the pan, then all of a sudden realized that the Orioles were going to be there for the long haul. They're in first place. And then we saw the story. They have a play-by-play broadcaster, Kevin Brown. He was suspended. And you're probably going, well, what could you get suspended for as a play-by-play voice? Did he swear? What happened? Well, here is what he said.
Brandon Hyde has felt like this has been maybe the toughest ballpark to play in, but the Orioles have a chance to do something special today. They've already clinched at least a split in the series, winning 2 of the first 3, and they could pick up a series win behind Tyler Wells today. It's been a minute. The Orioles split a 2-gamer with the Rays in June. They had lost their last 15 series here at Tropicana Field. You have to go back to when our now colleague Brad Brock picked up the win in the series finale, June 25th, 2017, the last time the Orioles won a series here at St. Pete. Already got 3-2 at the Trop this year after winning 3 of 18 the previous 3 years combined. It is a stark difference, Ben, and it is not a bad Rays team. It's not like all of a sudden the Rays became slouches in the American League East. They've led this division every day, but now 2, and the Orioles once again are back alone in first place.
Yep, that's it. He got suspended for that. Now, there's a graphic that is up, and he's just reading off the facts that are on the graphic. This isn't something where he went rogue and goes, I'm going to ad-lib this. He's reading off something. Somebody had to provide the graphic. There had to be a producer involved in this. There had to be probably a few people. I don't know if – so I'm trying to, rationalize this. Like, what could he have said where ownership said, we're going to suspend you? He was pointing out how bad the Orioles used to be, but they've been really good this year. This will give you an idea. This is rare. We haven't played well against the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't know if he does that all the time because the Orioles haven't been competitive for a long time. And does he do this often? And maybe ownership was like, no, not going to be saying these negative things anymore. I don't know what else you can take out of that where, you have to be so thin-skinned as an owner where you're going, wait, he's saying that we used to be bad. Yeah, you did. But that makes it even more special what you're doing this year. Instead of, oh, my God, we're harping on how bad we are. No, you're good this year. Great story. This is where you used to be, and this is where you are. Yeah, Pauline.
We checked a couple different stories, and there's no other information that he was suspended for anything else but this. We also emailed both Kevin Brown and the Orioles to ask for a representative to come on or an explanation if there's more to it, and the Orioles did not respond to us.
Well, other announcers around Major League Baseball responded. Here's Gary Cohen. He is the Mets announcer.
Let me just say one thing to Baltimore Orioles management. You draped yourself in humiliation when you fired John Miller, and you're doing it again. And if you don't want Kevin Brown, there are 29 other teams who do. It's a horrendous decision by the Orioles. I don't know what they were thinking, but they've gotten exactly the reaction that they deserve. And it's just a shame because the Orioles are playing so well, and now they've diverted attention from that.
And then there's Michael Kay, the Yankee announcer.
If you're going to be so thin-skinned to suspend Kevin Brown, then you have to suspend the entire Oriole truck because they're all complicit in this. And if John Angelos, the owner of the Orioles, didn't like that, then he's thin-skinned, he's unreasonable, and he should actually get a call from Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, because it's unconscionable that you would actually suspend a really good broadcaster for no reason whatsoever. He didn't do anything wrong. This makes the Orioles look so small and insignificant and minor league. Fans of teams should be lucky when their announcers are allowed to be critical. And that wasn't even critical, Peter. I believe that was complimentary of the Orioles. It's such a small look.
It's Michael Kay on the Yes Network. Gary Cohen, courtesy of SNY TV. Yeah, you're listening to it, and you're going, okay, what am I missing here? Is there any kind of previous comments, history here, priors? I don't know. Yes, Eden.
Well, that's it. Like, I was trying to find, because, right, it makes no sense to be suspended for that. So I spent a lot of the evening trying to figure out why the Orioles were so upset about it. And The only reason is there has to be more to the story than just those comments. There has to be more than just that. I was even listening to it being like, well, maybe it's a little heavy-handed. Like, do we have to point out all of the different times? Like, we haven't won here since 2017, and this is like what? Okay, maybe it was a little heavy-handed. But even still, does he do that for every road series where we haven't won in Boston since 1987? This is whatever.
I don't know. That's why I keep waiting. Is there anybody who can fill in the gray area here? Is there gray area where this guy's doing his job? And there's a graphic that's up. He didn't make the graphic. He probably didn't come up with the graphic. It's probably a producer who said, hey, we want to show how we haven't been successful, but we're successful this year. And I think you're pointing out what is obvious, but maybe ownership is going, oh, here we go. We're going to talk about the negatives, and we didn't do well. We don't play well here. We haven't played well in a while. Instead of going, hey, you should be just talking verbal bouquets with the Orioles. You got to have a broadcaster who at least is able to be a broadcaster, not a puppet. You got to have somebody who's going to be able to say what he feels or what he thinks. Understanding what the parameters are, being professional, being the local broadcaster, being paid by the team that you might be critical of. But, you build that up. You build up some house credit there where now your voice means something more. And Kevin Brown, to me, it didn't sound heavy-handed. It just sounded like he was pointing out what was obvious here. Yes, Todd.
And even if you're being a little too negative, too much to the taste of the executives or the owner, have a little conversation, give them at least a warning saying, hey, moving forward, I've been noticing everything's been a little too negative. And then obviously the broadcaster decides how he wants to handle that criticism.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Was he told something before this? Pull him aside. Just say, hey, it doesn't sound positive, Kevin. Make it positive. Spin it forward. Make it positive. We should feel good about what we're doing. But if you're going to suspend him, are you suspending other people? I don't think he acted alone here. Yeah, Paul.
And the ownership now, it puts a spotlight on their futility over the past 25 years. 3 playoff appearances in 25 seasons. Yeah. That's hard to do in Major League Baseball.
Wait, you're skewing negative,
That's
Paulie.
me. They're going to suspend me.
Yep, you're going to get suspended by the Orioles. Where's Paulie today? Well, he got suspended by the Orioles.
My last Oriole broadcast. And they were such a feel-good story. It's one of the better stories in baseball.
Yes. Because Paulie sent me the article, and I'd already read it, and then I thought, okay, there's got to be something. Maybe something happened off the air. I have no idea, but there has to be something more than broadcaster gets suspended for pointing out team's futility in previous years against the Tampa Bay Rays. Yes, Paulie.
I wonder if he would consider suing them while still being a broadcaster there, because then they can't fire him during the lawsuit, and then he could say, look what you did to my reputation. I read facts on the air.
Yeah, but then you don't. If I'm an owner of another team, do I want somebody who has filed a lawsuit against ownership because of
fair.
What was said? I'd be nervous about that.
It's like suspending the weatherman. The guy just read the facts.
Yeah, but he's skewing negative. He's talking about 30% chance of rain instead of 70% chance of not having any rain.